1. The wandering days started like this. You are listening at famvetv.info. My name is Safate Greedo that I will be the second son of the Greed family, the great nobles of the royal capital. Parma My family is one of the highest ranking noble families in King/S Landing, and is one of the 4 supreme families among them after graduating from the highest ranking magic department of the Royal Capital Magic Academy. I worked as a teacher at the academy while continuing to research magic in the academy/S laboratory. I/V been working there for nearly 6 years, but fortunately, my classes are well received by my students, and the headmaster recently personally offered me a job with him for life. A smooth sailing for me in life, but in fact, I have a very big headache at the moment. I usually live in a teacher/S house in the school, but today I was returning to my parents'/house for that reason as well. My parents'/family, the Greed family, is one of the 4 supreme families, and they are so wealthy that they are ranked at the top of the richest class in the royal capital, Parma. The family consists of 4 brothers and sisters, 1 brother serving in the military, 1 sister who married into another noble family, and 1 sister who married into another noble family, 4. A total of 6 people, including the father and mother, who live in a luxurious mansion that resembles a castle. When I returned home, I was greeted by maids as usual, but I didn't have time to say hello to the maids before I went straight to my father/S study. Father, I would like to speak to you, in the study. My father, Gaply Greedo, who was looking over some documents, looked at me and gave me a look that said, you again. There is a reason for this. My father, Gaply, as a nobleman, has been given some of the cities in the vicinity of the royal capital by the king as the land under his direct control, and he has been entrusted with the management of them. It pains me to expose the shame of my family, but my father is an incredible spender. He is so devoted to collecting antiques and rare armor that he has built several luxurious mansions in the suburbs just to preserve them. Her mother, Rohi, is a great party animal and holds lavish tea and dinner parties every day to which she invites many of her royal and noble friends. His older brother, Prido, who is in the army, has virtually no swordsmanship or operational skills, but he has risen through the ranks by bribing the top brass and has risen to the rank of general at a young age. My sister, Tamar, and her sister, Kazi, have married into an aristocratic family that their father has befriended. My sister, Tamar, has a poor relationship with her mother in-law because she has a keen eye for collecting clothes, bags and ornaments, and she spends her days shopping at her daughter-in-law/S house of marriage. Her sister Kazi is an irrepressible man-lover, so she says she/S married and has hired a man she likes as her butler to create a harem. In Kazi/S case, her husband is also quite a woman-lover, and like Kazi, he hires all the women he likes as maids to create a harem, so in a way, it/S a good match for her. Back to the point. My parents'/extravagant spending was ridiculous on a daily basis. To pay for their wasteful spending, my father continued to impose an unbelievable amount of taxes on the land he ruled. It was at such an outrageous level that it was difficult for the people to even lead a normal life. Naturally, complaints have been pouring in from the ruled lands, but my father continues to completely ignore them and silently kill them. He even encloses his dominion with a high wall to prevent anyone from lodging a complaint directly to the royal capital, and he even has his own private army constantly monitoring the area. I'm sure you/LL be pleased to know that I/am not the only one that I couldn't/T stand still, so I spoke to my father anyway. I kept remonstrating with him, telling him that the situation needed to be remedied, but the situation did not improve, and when he heard that he had been informed a few days earlier that another temporary tax collection would take place, he returned to his parents'/house. Father. Imposing more tax burdens on the dominant areas, or something like that, is beyond reckless. I bit back desperately. Today, I said my father was listening to me with his arms crossed and his eyes closed, but I could tell from the look on his face that he was not happy about it. When he was sure I had finished speaking for a moment, he let out a deep breath and said you/B made your point. All right, my father stood up from his big chair and looked straight at me. I wondered if he would finally understand my admonition that I will no longer regard you as a son if you refuse to follow your father/s actions. You have disowned me. Get out of my greed house. After that I was forcibly removed from the house by the guards ordered by my father. I/am not going to be able to get the books and household items in my room without handing them over. When I returned to the Magic Academy, I was immediately summoned by the headmaster and notified of my dismissal on the spot. It/s a very good idea to have a good idea of what you/re going to do with it. The Greed family has given us a large donation, and we can/t continue to hire someone who has disowned the house. And was effectively sentenced to immediate and permanent banishment. The majority of the savings from working at the Magic Academy. Though most of it has disappeared with the purchase of magic books and the like. And since the Academy felt sorry for me, they provided me with some severance pay, so I decided to use it to buy a cart and pack up the teacher/s dormitory. That I was told to move out of the dormitory right away, but there was no way I would be able to find a place to settle down in a short period of time, as I had been forced to move out of my parents'/house. Thanks to the possession of several magic boxes that can store more items than the apparent size of the boxes, I was able to load all of the dormitory/s belongings, including furniture, into them. Well, it seems to be true that you/v been fired, basically, she was one of the few friends I could say was devoted to my own research outside of class time. In this royal capital, the status of sub.humans is basically low. If a sub.human tries to work in the capital, he or she only needs to do menial jobs in a nobleman/s mansion, but most of them find a job in the water trade at the end of the day or become a slave. The same is true for the elves, but there are races of elves that can use advanced magic, and races with special skills like this can also get teaching jobs at the Magic Academy this way. Even so, there are quite a few people who are willing to associate with sub.humans, and she too was an isolated existence in the school. However, I personally believe that I had a good friendship with her as well, since I had no feelings of discrimination against sub-humans with other races. Erdina and I often studied together and occasionally had meals together, as we often shared the same magical research theme. As for meals, there were many people who looked at the subhuman Erdina with strange eyes in the general restaurants of the royal capital, so we often used the subhuman cafeteria in the back street. I/am sure many sub.humans looked at me with strange eyes here, but once you get to know them, I believe that sub.humans are more friendly and fun than their race. What are you going to do now? At Erdina/s words, I folded my arms and twisted my head. To be honest, I/am not that socially adept, so there/s no way I can count on it. It/s a good idea to be able to have a good idea of what you/re looking for. It/s not only that, but also that father/s character doesn't/t necessarily mean that he won/t harass you in some way. In fact, he had already arranged for you to be fired from the Magic Academy. To be honest, I don't/t have a plan. But for now, I/ll just go to some frontier city. And the only thing I can do is I am currently living in the royal capital, Parma. Around this city, there are many aristocrats/dominions and vassal states in the forest, far away from the city, in the forest and in remote areas such as between mountain ranges. There are cities called frontier cities, although the frontier city is a subordinate city to the royal capital. Unlike the royal capital, sub-humans make up the majority of the population in this city. Because of the distance from the royal capital, I thought that even people like me, who were exiled from noble families, would be accepted. I see. In that case, there might be something we can help you with. Erdina said that she could introduce them to her hometown, the frontier city of Greencombe in the southern forest. After all, her parents are part of the lord group of this city. I/am honestly grateful for the current situation. However, although there was some resistance to bothering my former colleague /s hands, that /s not a problem. I rather be useful in times like these. Erdina smiled and patted me on the shoulder. Erdina offered to buy me dinner in lieu of a parting gift in this city, so the two of us went out to a familiar sub human diner. This restaurant in the back alley, Three Dragons Pavilion, is run by a couple of goblin people, but the food is much better than those of the other races. Many sub-humans who work in the royal capital frequent this restaurant, and it has become a valuable networking place for sub-humans. //o ISN /T that Safate /S brother.as. I finished my order. Black, a demon man, ogre people, dressed in his familiar black armor, called out to me with his usual dynamic laugh. I heard that. I heard you were disowned for beating up that gold. Rich Gapley, Erdina said, was it, good job, with a targeted expression on your face. I felt a little saved by those words, so. What are you going to do now, mister? As one would expect from a nobleman, you can /T stay here anymore. When I told the concerned Black that I was going to go to the Green Combs in the south with Eldina /S introduction, what the hell? Then I /LL give you a lift on the wagon. I just got a job carrying some stuff over there. Then he banged on my shoulder. To be honest, I was really grateful for the offer. You know, when you were injured, you helped me with medicine and other things, so I wouldn't /T give a d*mn about it for you. Then Black laughed out loud with a gahaha. After all, this night /S meal was free as a favor to the owner. You /Ria racial group. But you /Ria patron of my restaurant. The owner laughed and said that to me, and although I felt a little sorry for what I had done myself, I was also happy. Erdina was, you can stay in my room tonight if you want. That he offered to let me stay in the room of a single woman, but as expected, I decided to sleep in the bed of the wagon that I had just purchased that day, thinking that I couldn't /T let him stay in the room of a single woman. When we parted, I wondered what it was about Erdina /S slightly bad mood that made me feel like she was in a slightly bad mood, and I thought back to the day when a lot of things had happened. Even though I interfered in the management of my father /S fiefdom, I myself grew up with the benefits of it. That I /D like to be able to make a living that will benefit others in the new land I am heading to. The next morning, Black came to my wagon with his own wagon team. That I was able to buy a wagon, but I hadn't /T been able to arrange for a horse, so I was very grateful for his help. Erdina came up to me as I was hooking up my wagon to Black /S wagon. At first I thought she was writing a letter of introduction for me to submit to Green Convoy, but the sight of her arriving, strangely equipped with heavy equipment and a large load of luggage, made me tilt my head in disbelief. Well, I just wanted to investigate the magic stones around Greencomb, so I am going with you. I was told that Erdina herself would accompany me to Greencomb and speak directly to her parents, who were part of the city /S Lord group. I was inwardly very happy to have someone I knew well enough to stay with me for a while. It was a very reassuring and joyful thing for me, as I had lost everything in the past day. That I am ready to go, yes. Then we re off to Green Convoy. Black /S words were responded to by his servant child Demons with a vigorous voice. That I am a little girl. That I heard a familiar voice. When I looked out of the wagon, I saw a cat people, running up from behind it, gasping for breath, carrying a large load. Yunya, she was the Greed family /S maid, a cat person named Yunya, who worked as a maid. Although she was a maid, she was treated like a slave because she was a subhuman, but she was a really hard-working cat who always worked hard and always had a smile on her face. She was a little older than me, but we were close in age and we got along well in the mansion. When I asked him to stop the carriage, I ran over to Wunya. Yo. Thank goodness. Well, you re in time, Naya, even though she was sweating, Unja hugged me with a big smile on her face. I was surprised to hear that you disowned the mansion, Bo-chan. Come to think of it, when I was kicked out of the mansion yesterday, it was so sudden that I couldn't /T say goodbye to Unja. That I had planned to send a letter to her and the others who had been so kind to me later, but it was really nice to know that someone had come all the way to see me like this. But what is this massive amount of luggage that Anja is bringing with her? Anya had come in with a small cart full of luggage and was pulling it along. These are the books and laboratory equipment that the little one treasured. These are some of the books and experimental equipment that were about to be thrown away, but we managed to get them back, Anya said and smiled that am very grateful for that. The reason for this is that there are many valuable books that I have collected over the years. I'm sure my father would be quick to throw them away because they have no monetary value due to the fact that I do a lot of writing, but to me they are all important things that I have collected over the years. Also, V brought a set of my things with me, Naya, with that, Anja stood up once, bowed deeply to me, Andy V resigned from the mansion. V resigned from the house, and LL earn my own food. LL earn my own food, so am asking you to keep working for me, little master that I couldn't T help but freeze at that sudden offer from Anja. For some reason, I got the feeling that the wagon Erdina was glaring at me in Una with an extremely unhappy expression. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.